Welcome to the Good Music Show. This is Danny here. Julius is here too.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm not going solo. Don't worry. I haven't hit it big yet, and nobody wants me to go solo. But I'm still holding out that that our band gets big and I can get that solo album where I do a concept where it tells the story of my life. It's a unique concept that I'm coming up with.
Is that like the British monkey guy, or?
I have no idea. I don't know the monkeys. I just know the Planet of the Apes. Anyway, we're here to preview what we got. So you might have listened to our first preview for our season 2. Well, for season 2 that came out earlier and actually later in 2024. We're still going with season 2. We've got some episodes planned. But since we had a big little break with the 3 album run episodes that took up a chunk of time, we planned some more episodes for season 2, and we just wanted to let everyone know what they can expect, what they need to listen to in advance to make sure you're prepared for these episodes. And I'm excited about what we got coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Julius had some good ideas, some interesting, changing it up a little bit here and there. But there's also some, classic style stuff. First of which, we've got another season episode, Winter, which we'll pull back the curtain a little bit. We're recording it in winter, and I'm going to try my hardest to have it before the spring solstice comes around. But it's been cold here, and even in Myrtle Beach, it was like in the 30s yesterday. So it's working out. We're not too late. It's still cold, and then I'm not even going to talk about Chicago because I don't want to rub it in too much. But it's just miserable there, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's the worst city on earth.
Yeah, the worst weather, probably contender. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's not fun.
So yeah, we got that coming up, and we're doing winter albums. Maybe we'll do a playlist next go around. But we've been doing seasonal albums. We've done spring and fall, and the album I picked is called Gord's Gold, which is a kind of a hybrid compilation album because half of it is just a compilation of previously recorded songs, and the other half is new recordings of old songs. So it's definitely an interesting thing, and we're going to be talking about that. That's going to be our next episode, and so I won't tell too much out of school, but it's by a Canadian, if you don't know Gord and Lightfoot. So I think there's no more winter thing than a Canadian can make. So, And Julius, your album?
Yeah, I got The Velvet Rope by Janet Jackson. She had like a really crazy spree of like innovative records for pop and R&B music in the 90s, and this is probably what most critics and her fans agree to be the peak of it. It's an album that like deals a lot with like, self-healing, mental health journeys and stuff. And for me, winter is a time where I find myself to be sadder than usual. And it's an album that like I feel like matches that energy, is able to like make me feel a bit better. So that's why I picked it.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that one. And yeah, definitely we're going to be getting into our feelings about winter in that episode, and all the seasonal depression. It's a real thing. Not for me though. I'm fine.
Yeah, Danny is probably the most mentally healthy person I know.
I'm just built different, I guess. I don't have any. I don't do anything wrong ever. I perfect health. I take vitamin D now. Actually, yeah, I'm not perfect health. I'm vitamin D deficient. I just spread my medical. I went to the doctor for the first time in a while.
It's starting to become the herpes of vitamin deficiency for people. Like almost everyone has it.
Right, yeah. I guess that's what you get for working from home.
Yeah.
You don't go outside.
Not enough sun.
But anyway, so next up, of course, we're gonna have a couple bonus episodes. I'm just gonna tease that. You're gonna just hear them when you hear them. I'm not gonna tell you what we got planned, but trust me, we got some interesting things planned for bonus episodes. But our next official episode will be a 2024 year in review, just right in the perfect timely time where we could have put this out. We're going to be talking about last year in like probably the busiest time for the music in 2025. So but we got to take stock. You got to have time to chew on everything.
Where me and Danny are not employed music critics. We are not
Yes.
even amateur music critics.
Yeah.
Where I feel like
We're armchair.
people, yeah, people force themselves to like have to follow the critic schedule of getting a list of albums, and that's kind of why a lot of lists seem really terrible when you look at them like years ahead, or just
Yeah.
confusing because it's like, oh, how'd you forget that album or this album, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I've always given myself the time to like not force a like, top 10 albums or top 10 films of the year list to be done in December, just because there's living in Chicago for films, like they're never all going to be out. And even
Yeah.
with music, I don't have all the time in the world to be listening to all these albums to the point where I even want to like be like, yeah, man, I love this one, because I don't really even like deciding how I feel about an album unless I'm like 2 listens in of it. So
Right.
yeah, that's my justification, but I feel like it's such a nothing problem where if you have an issue, you should really look at how lucky your life is and appreciate it that this is an issue.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully this episode will not only introduce you to some music, but it'll also like make you realize, it's not so bad for me.
Yeah, it's really not. But
Yeah.
but we're going to be talking about our favorite albums and songs of 2024 in this episode. And I think I'm glad we took the time, because I feel like I haven't even really still been able to like check out as much 2024 music as I wanted. So I feel a lot more confident than like, trying to rush it to be done by January or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because we could have done that where we planned to do it in advance and then have it ready by whatever for Christmas or whatever. But we got other things to do. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. It'll all get talked about eventually when we're going to be recording our 1000th episode. So don't worry, just be patient. You got to wait.
Yeah. Also, just imagine everybody's like, wait, you guys aren't critics?
That would be like a very good compliment if someone said that. I would be like, wow, So the next thing we got planned is another Julius gem of a idea, changing it up slightly. We're going to be talking about tiny desk concerts. I'm very excited to talk about this, and Julius, want to share what you were, what made you think of that and why tiny desk is such a good thing to talk about.
Yeah, I feel like we take tiny desk for granted. We all love music, but we also love seeing it like in action, because we do definitely like take for granted how much music is driven through the post-production of it all, where being able to see someone like recreate it live is always just so exciting, which, Tiny Desk is basically the MTV Unplugged for millennials and Zoomers and further on, where it's the only really outlet we have to be able to see our favorite musicians like perform live now, because no one watches BET, no one watches MTV, and even if you watch either of those, they wouldn't have the shows that would have this kind of live format going on.
Right.
And it's been going on for a while. I have my hot takes about it. I probably even spouted them all over the show already, but I feel like it'll be fun to look at a classic and look at a hidden gem, where me and Danny are going to have 2 picks each that you can find out when the episode is out. But and I feel like because there's so many tiny desks, it's like hundreds now at this point, it'd be cool to like, examine what makes this one a classic and try to understand why it got so many more views than like other typical ones that are classics or lesser known, and like, recognize what makes this one a hidden gem and understand why this one didn't get the attention it deserved as compared to other tiny desks, because it is always kind of fascinating seeing which ones turn out to be a classic or a hidden gem. So I'm excited to like, talk about it with Danny, because I love talking about music in general, but I feel like we haven't really had much opportunity to talk to such an extent about tiny desk in general. And it should be a good one.
It'll be interesting. We'll look at, the flaws of the tiny desk, like what about that audio quality? Why is the mic so quiet sometimes? Stuff like that.
Why do they pick that mic for singers? That's my main take more than ever, but it's fine. But the one thing I will clarify is we did not include the COVID at home Tiny Desk concerts
Yes.
for our like picks, just because while there's plenty of brilliant at home concerts that they did during the pandemic, the reason why these ones are probably the best of the Tiny Desk is that they weren't confined to what makes a Tiny Desk concert. So we could maybe do a bonus episode maybe later down the line that look into those a bit more, but we're focusing
Yeah.
on what is the like, quintessential Tiny Desk set
Yeah.
concerts. But just so people are like, "Well, where's this one or that one?" And I'm like, it's not the same.
There's hundreds of them, first of all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so we kind of just narrowed it down. Like, we wanted the full experience of, you have to go to their DC office, whatever floor it's on. Probably you have to take an elevator up there.
Ruin the lunch break of an overworked radio host.
Yeah. And you have to fit behind that desk that has all that stuff on the shelves, and you have to be surrounded by probably 30 to 40 white people that are working for NPR and looking at you.
They're scared to say most of the lyrics.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the full experience. And so we'll talk about a couple famous ones, and then ones that are like our little hidden gems that not as well known but are favorites for us. And what you can do with that format. It's, a lot of people strip it down. Some people just kind of do what they normally do, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And Danny, was this your idea or my idea, the next one?
I think this one was my idea, yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the color coding. But but this idea is another great one from Danny Robbins that, of course, I want to be like, oh yeah, I came up with all these. But this one is going to be a first listens episode for albums that neither of us have heard. As I brought up, we do not have the time to fully commit every minute and second of our lives to listening to music. So there's going to be some albums that have been recommended to us by countless people, or even just through our own, journey of checking out work by artists that we admire that we somehow, just missed. And this one I'm excited about because if you ever hacked into any of my shit, you will know I have a very large watch list for movies and a very large to listen to list for music. It's never going to be done. I will die as it's going to get larger and larger. So but I'm glad that this one we get to knock out one for each of us, where I picked this album, The Idiot by Iggy Pop. If you remember me telling you that I liked this album in college, I lied to you, and I'm sorry for that. I am ashamed. And it's mostly because I love the Stooges, but I never really bothered checking out most of Iggy Pop's solo stuff. So it's gonna be fun to look into it and see if it's maybe one of my favorite albums ever, or maybe I was right to not put too much time into it. And Danny, you want to tell us about your pick?
Well, I'm curious to what you would say about what you've heard about this album, because my pick is a Neil Young album. And I like Neil Young. I like the hits, and the hits are popular songs that he has, and I just never really listened to too many of his albums. There's one that I've listened to called On the Beach. That's like a classic that I love that album, and because I knew the story, I heard the story behind it, that made me want to go listen to it.
Yeah.
And then in that discussion of the story of On the Beach, this album that I picked called Tonight's the Night came up, and it just the vague description of that is that it's like this album he made when he was absolutely miserable, basically just doing drugs and also losing people to drugs. So that just sounds scary, and I'm like, I need to hear what that sounds like. But I've never heard I didn't want to pick a Neil Young Harvest or something like that I've heard songs from. This album I've never heard any of the songs from. Not familiar with any. So that's why I wanted that clean experience for the first time. So and Julius, you said you don't know too much Neil Young either, so this will be interesting. Yeah,
this will be the first Neil Young album I've listened to, so I'm excited to get that blind spot a little, give it some light.
Yeah. And is there anything you've heard about the Iggy Pop album, or is it just one that you've wanted to check out?
It's it's the debut. I believe it's produced by David Bowie. And I've always I've always heard great things from my friends who are fans of Iggy Pop and David Bowie. I won't know until I listen to it that if I heard any songs in passing. But from what I heard, it's it's the thing that shows that Iggy Pop didn't need to just be the lead singer of the Stooges. He could be a rock icon without them, where it very much is the thing that's set in stone. Iggy Pop is a star, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So
Makes
I'm
sense.
excited to see if that's true or if he needs the band to keep it going.
Yeah. Put his shirt back on, get back in the band, you know.
Yeah. What's funny is like in the cover I've always thought was so funny because it looks like he has like a Johnny Bravo haircut, but it's just the like because his hair blends in with the shadows in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it looks off. But yeah. But yeah, well, I'm excited to check out both of these. And I would love if this is like even a repeat prop we do because it will,
Yeah.
like I said, help with figure out albums that I definitely need to listen to and need to put effort into listening to.
Definitely. Yeah. So the next, our final episode we have planned for season 2 is a playlist episode. We love playlist episodes. You know, they're always fun. I think I was thinking we need to do a season that's oops all playlist episodes because you know, there's a lot. That's a lot easy way to get because like sometimes you don't want to talk about a whole album for an artist. It's just one song is enough. So, but this is kind of a collaborative idea. It was started with Julius's thoughts about having a playlist of songs that you would play for an alien, and I kind of spun it a little bit just to be like, you can tell a story that's that vibe, but in any way you want. I thought of like, yeah, pick any like X-Files supernatural being that you want to play a playlist for and tell a story that way. So I'm calling it the X-Files playlist episode. So this will be interesting. Julius, I'm seeing you don't have a playlist posted yet, but I'm sure you've got ideas cooking.
It's currently at like 20 songs that like just like I haven't looked at it for a week. Where I'll definitely.
Yeah, I had a really hard time narrowing mine down. I just kind of had to stick to the theme.
I will say. I mean, can I say the supernatural thing I'm doing?
Yeah.
Werewolf.
Oh, okay. I'm glad. Okay, I'm glad you actually took that because I kind of just stuck with Alien. This is my playlist. And if you look at it, you'll see it's like I'm saying goodbye to Earth because the story I'm telling is an alien is basically coming to like end planet Earth, and they're like, "Do you have anything to say?" You're talking to me for some reason. And I'm like, "No, I you know what? You're right. I don't have anything to say. I just want to play these 5 songs as like to say goodbye. You know? we're done."
But what's funny, mine is like some like very pause where I made like a playlist of songs to help a werewolf turn back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, to like remind them of like the beauty of humanity.
That's very fitting because we just had a conversation recently. I finished all the Twilight movies, and they pissed me off, especially the last one with that. You know, spoiler alert for what happens at the end. They just pull the rug out from under you, and I'm like, I wanted to see blood. I mean, it's a vampire movie. I mean, what do you?
Yeah. It's really funny they have like big battles in those movies.
Yeah, that are like so not. I mean, honestly, it could have been like a Game of Thrones level of the battles and stuff, but no, they didn't want to do that.
They didn't.
Fine, whatever.
Well, I'm curious. Do you have like a favorite set of music from the movie? Because I always felt like New Moon had a very sick soundtrack.
There was like. Oh, what was the song that was in the credits? Oh, there's a Green Day song that I recognize. I think it was on their like 21st Century Breakdown album or something. I was into that when I was in like 7th grade. Other than that, like I like the first one. I think I like the first one the best overall, and that one had like a Muse song, so I'll go with that one.
There's Muse throughout, which is funny. I like New Moon a lot just because it has like Tom York and Bon Iver. Where it's like very low key vibes for some reason, that soundtrack.
Yeah, well, I think I wasn't paying super attention to music in that one because that one was
you were looking at Taylor Lautner's abs.
Yeah.
But this should be a fun one where I like us going very conceptual.
Yeah.
Where I gotta think. Oh, never mind. It's not my problem. I love it. I love when they hit up the Slack group chat with the "at here" thing, and it's like, oh, that's not my thing. I guess he's desperate enough where he thought it was everyone's thing.
Is that what you say "at here" and that tags everyone in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to my Slack listeners who use Slack without any choice. If I had a choice, I would just stick to emails. I miss just sending emails to motherfuckers.
Yeah. Spend like an hour typing one out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good way to suck up some time. Yeah. But all right, so that's what we got. Yeah, and we'll probably fill in the specific information in the description with our playlists once we get those fully nailed down, and we got our album choices. So check out the description. You know, get ready, get these, get a listen in before these come out. It'll be coming out throughout the rest of the year. I don't know how long it will take, but whatever it does, be ready. That's all I'm saying.
Be ready. Yeah, and we're excited if you've been listening for this long, and you probably be hearing this a bit later, but I do want to give up props to Danny for taking the lead on getting our 2-3 album run episodes together. They both did really well in terms of downloads, and they both got really good attention for their promos by our awesome new promo editor Josh Keck. Where give him a follow if you haven't yet. Where I just want to just give some props to Danny and Josh for making those promos and episodes as great as they are.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you to Josh at Masked Piss is his handle. So go check him out. Yeah, he's been doing great helping us out with those, and yeah, those were some fun episodes, and then they turned out really well. I'm definitely proud of them. And so if you haven't heard them, I mean, we're approaching Joe Rogan episode length with those, but definitely worth it. There is some mindless rambling a la Joe Rogan, but there's a lot of good info that we spend a lot of time researching. So
and we're not telling you to vote for Trump, so we're better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If he goes for a third term, I might have to. I need a win.
Yeah. It might become law in Myrtle Beach that you have to just vote.
Yeah, I'm sure South Carolina will be introducing some sort of podcasting laws about Trump. So
yeah.
But anyway, all right. Thanks for listening to our preview, and we'll see you next time for winter. Goodbye.
Yep. See ya.